The alien fleet moved through space like predators stalking prey. 300 warships, each one carrying enough firepower to level a continent. They advanced toward Earth with casual confidence. This was routine for them. They had done this 100 times before on 100 different worlds. Doyen Kim watched them from the bridge of the Indomitable. His ship was still hidden, floating in the shadow of Earth's moon. The alien sensors could not detect them yet. Human stealth technology was better than the aliens knew. Much better. Distance to enemy fleet? Doyen asked. 2 million kilometers and closing, answered his tactical officer. They're not scanning carefully. They think we're not here. Doyen allowed himself a small smile. The hegemony had ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. They had grown arrogant. They looked at Earth and saw primitive radio transmissions, chemical rockets, and nuclear weapons. Technology from Earth's past. They never thought to look deeper. 50 years ago, when Earth first detected alien signals, everything changed. A graduate student named Yuna discovered the transmissions while working at a deep space listening station. She heard voices speaking across the stars. At first, people were excited. First contact. Proof of alien life. Then Earth scientists decoded the messages. They were not peaceful. They were military transmissions, fleet movements, conquest reports, casualty lists. The messages spoke of subjugation, of worlds brought under hegemony control, of species that resisted and were destroyed. Earth's governments realized the truth. The galaxy was not peaceful. It was dominated by an empire that crushed anyone weaker than themselves, and Earth was weak, defenseless. If the hegemony found them, Earth would fall. But humanity had one advantage. The aliens did not know Earth existed yet. The radio signals Earth had been broadcasting into space had not reached hegemony territory. Earth had time. That was when Admiral Heejin Park, then just a young military strategist, proposed an idea. Instead of announcing themselves to the galaxy, Earth would stay silent. They would listen, learn, and build. The plan was ambitious. Every nation on Earth had to work together. Resources were pooled. Scientists shared information. The best minds on the planet focused on a single goal: building a fleet that could protect Earth when the aliens finally came. Money that would have gone to social programs went to secret shipyards instead. The brightest students were recruited into classified programs. Entire facilities were built underground, underwater, and in space. All of it hidden. All of it preparing for a war that might never come. Minseo Choi had been one of those students. At 18, she was studying engineering at university when government recruiters approached her. They showed her test scores she did not know existed. They told her she was gifted. They asked if she wanted to save the world. She said yes. For 15 years, Minseo worked in facilities that did not officially exist. She helped design engines that could push ships to incredible speeds. She created weapon systems that could punch through advanced alien armor. She and thousands of others worked in secret, building humanity's only chance at survival. The Dreadnoughts were their masterpiece. Each ship was 3 kilometers long and massed 5 million tons. They carried railguns that could accelerate projectiles to a fraction of light speed. They had missile batteries with enough firepower to destroy small moons. Their armor was layered composite material that could withstand nuclear explosions. But the real innovation was the power system. Minseo had designed a fusion reactor that generated 10 times more energy than anything the hegemony used. It powered everything: the engines, the weapons, the shields, the life support. It made the Dreadnoughts faster and deadlier than any warship the aliens had. Jiwan Lee had joined the Defense Force 3 years ago. She was a communications specialist, trained to coordinate between 50 ships moving at high speeds across vast distances. It was harder than people thought. Space was huge. Light itself took time to travel. Sending orders and receiving responses required precision and anticipation. She sat at her station now, monitoring channels. The alien fleet was broadcasting constantly, coordinating their approach. They were not being careful. They did not encrypt their transmissions. They did not think anyone could understand their language. They were wrong. Earth had been listening for 50 years. Earth's computers had decoded their language, studied their tactics, analyzed their technology. Humanity knew how the hegemony fought. They knew their weaknesses. Enemy fleet is spreading out, Jiwan reported. They're forming a standard occupation pattern. Looks like they're planning to surround Earth and bombard any resistance. Doyen nodded. Just like the simulations predicted. They're following their doctrine exactly. That was another advantage. The hegemony had been winning for so long that they had become predictable. They used the same formations, the same tactics over and over. Why change what worked? Every world fell to them eventually, but Earth had studied those tactics. Earth knew what was coming, and Earth had planned accordingly. "Sir, Admiral Park is on secure channel," Jiwan said. Doyun activated the communication link. Admiral Park's face appeared on his screen. She looked tired but determined. "Status, Captain?" she asked. "All systems operational. Crew is ready. We're in position." "Good. The asteroid belt fleet is moving into position now. The Jupiter group will be the last to arrive. Timing is critical. We need the aliens deep in the solar system before we reveal ourselves." "Understood, Admiral." Park's expression softened slightly. "Doyun, I want you to know that whatever happens today, you and your crew have already done something incredible. Humanity built these ships. 50 years of work, sacrifice, and hope. That alone is a victory." "With respect, Admiral, I'd prefer a different kind of victory." Park smiled. "So would I. All ships report ready. Power levels are optimal. Weapons are loaded. We're as ready as we'll ever be. Then let's show the galaxy what humanity can do." The alien fleet continued forward. They passed Mars' orbit. They moved toward Earth, confident and unchallenged. Their commanders were already planning the occupation. Which cities to subjugate first? How many troops to deploy? How to extract Earth's resources most efficiently? They never considered that they might be walking into an ambush. Hidden in the asteroid belt, 38 Dreadnoughts finished their final checks. Their crews had lived in those ships for months, waiting in silence. Now their wait was ending. Engines that had been cold for years began to warm up. Weapon systems ran through activation sequences. Crews moved to battle stations. Around Jupiter, 12 more Dreadnoughts emerged from the radiation belts. These were the newest ships, equipped with the most advanced systems. Their crews were the most experienced. They had been training in Jupiter's harsh environment for 2 years, preparing for this moment. On the moon, in the massive facility where the Indomitable was built, Minseo watched the monitors. Every ship was showing green lights. All systems were functioning perfectly. Years of work, of testing, of preparation. It was all coming together. She thought about all the people who had worked on this project. Engineers who had never seen their families. Scientists who gave up their careers. Politicians who kept secrets for decades. Millions of people working together, hoping they would never need these ships, but now they did. And the ships were ready. Doyun stood on his bridge and looked at his crew. They were young, most of them. They had been born into a world that knew aliens existed. They had grown up training for this. War was all they knew. "I want you all to understand something," Doyun said. His voice was calm but carried through the bridge. "What we do today will define humanity's future. If we fail, Earth falls. If we succeed, we prove that humanity deserves a place among the stars." "No pressure." A few people laughed nervously. Doyun continued. "The aliens think we're weak. They think silence means fear. They're about to learn that humans can be very patient, and very, very dangerous when threatened." The alien fleet crossed 1 million kilometers from Earth. Admiral Park gave the order. "All ships, begin approach. Let's wake up the galaxy." The first thing the aliens detected was the energy signatures. Massive power sources appearing from nowhere. Their sensors went crazy with warnings. Impossible readings. Ships. Dozens of ships. Huge ships. Commander Vrelt sat in the command throne of the Hegemony flagship. He was a veteran of 40 campaigns. He had conquered 12 worlds. He did not panic easily. But when his sensors officer reported 50 massive contacts appearing throughout the solar system, he felt something close to fear. "That's impossible," Vrelt said. "We scanned this system. There were no military vessels, nothing." "The contacts are real, Commander," his officer replied. "They're powering weapons, multiple weapons. They're targeting us." Vrelt pulled up the tactical display. 50 red dots surrounded his fleet. They were positioned perfectly. His 300 ships were caught between multiple groups of enemy vessels. It was a textbook ambush, the kind of trap an experienced military force would set. But these were supposed to be primitives. They were supposed to be helpless. "All ships, battle formation. Raise shields, prepare to engage." But Vrelt was too slow. Humanity did not give him time. Do-Yoon Kim sat in the command chair of the Indomitable and watched his tactical display. The alien fleet was spreading out, trying to form defensive positions. They were confused. Off balance, perfect. All weapons, lock targets, Do-Yoon ordered. Fire on my mark. Jawan Lee's fingers moved across her console. She was coordinating with 49 other ships, making sure every vessel had clear firing solutions. No overlapping targets, maximum efficiency. All ships report locked and ready, she announced. Do-Yoon took a breath. This was it. 50 years of preparation. Humanity's first strike in a galactic war. He thought about everyone on Earth looking up at the sky, not knowing that their fate was being decided in the next few seconds. Fire. The Indomitable's railguns fired first. Magnetically accelerated tungsten projectiles, each one weighing 10 tons, launched at tremendous speed. They crossed space faster than the aliens could react. The first projectile hit an alien cruiser exactly where Min Seo Choi's calculations said the armor would be weakest. The tungsten rod punched through the shields like they were not there. It tore through the hull, through internal compartments, through the reactor core. The alien cruiser exploded in a ball of white light. Across the solar system, 49 other dreadnoughts opened fire. Railgun rounds, missiles, and energy beams tore into the hegemony fleet. The aliens had shields, but human weapons had been designed specifically to defeat those shields. Every shot was calculated. Every targeting solution had been refined through years of simulation and analysis. In the first 10 seconds, 20 alien ships were destroyed. In the next 10 seconds, 30 more were crippled. Direct hit on primary target, reported the tactical officer. Enemy ship destroyed, engaging secondary target. Do-Yoon watched the tactical display with cold focus. The aliens were trying to return fire now, but they were in chaos. Their formations were breaking apart. Ships were colliding with each other as they tried to evade. Incoming fire from enemy heavy cruiser, called out the defensive officer. Brace for impact. The alien weapons hit the Indomitable's shields. Energy beams and plasma bolts splashed across the defensive barriers. The ship shook, but the shields held. They had been designed to hold. Shields at 80%. The defensive officer reported. No damage to hull. Return fire, Do-Yoon ordered. Target their weapon systems. The Indomitable's secondary batteries fired. Smaller railguns, designed for precision work, hit the alien cruiser's weapon mounts. Explosions rippled across the alien ship's hull. It stopped firing. Target neutralized, the tactical officer said with satisfaction. Across the battlefield, the other dreadnoughts were performing similar work. The asteroid belt fleet had caught a large group of alien ships completely off guard. The ships hidden near Jupiter were attacking the aliens' rear formations. Every human ship was exactly where it needed to be. Admiral Hee-Jin Park watched the battle from her command center deep under the Pacific Ocean. Multiple screens showed feeds from different ships. The engagement was going better than she had hoped. The aliens were tough, but they were not ready for this. Not ready for ships that matched their technology. Not ready for tactics that exploited their weaknesses. Casualty report? She asked. EDS Vigilant has taken heavy damage, her aide reported. They're withdrawing to a safe distance for repairs. All other ships report minor damage only. Park allowed herself a moment of relief. They had expected to lose ships in the first engagement. The fact that only one was seriously damaged was a small miracle. Tell Vigilant to pull back behind the moon. They can make repairs there. All other ships maintain pressure. Don't give the aliens time to regroup. Min Seo Choi worked frantically in the Indomitable's engineering section. The ship was taking fire and every hit put stress on the systems. She monitored power distribution, making sure the shields got enough energy while weapons remained operational. Reactor output is stable, she called out to her team, diverting additional power to forward shields. The captain is taking us into close range. Is he insane? One of her engineers asked. No, Min Seo replied calmly. He's trusting us to keep this ship running. On the bridge, Do-Yoon was indeed taking the Indomitable closer to the enemy. The Dreadnought was huge and heavily armored. At close range, its weapons would be devastating. Distance to enemy flagship 5,000 kilometers in closing, the helm officer reported. Continue approach. All forward batteries prepare to fire. Jiwan Li was monitoring enemy communications. The aliens were panicking. Their carefully encrypted channels were full of confused orders and desperate calls for reinforcements. She could hear the fear in their voices, even through the translation software. Captain, the enemy flagship is trying to organize a counterattack. They're pulling ships together to focus fire on us. How many ships? 30 vessels converging on our position. Doyen smiled. Good. Tell the asteroid belt fleet to hit them from the side while they're focused on us. Jiwan sent the order. Moments later, 15 dreadnoughts appeared from behind a cluster of asteroids. They had been waiting for this opportunity. They fired everything they had at the aliens' exposed flank. It was a massacre. The alien ships, focused on the Indomitable, never saw the attack coming. Half of them were destroyed before they could react. The rest scattered in panic. Enemy counterattack broken, the tactical officer reported. They're in full retreat. Don't let them regroup, Doyen ordered. All ships pursue. Target their engines. I want them unable to run. The human fleet pressed forward. The dreadnoughts were faster than the alien ships. Minseo's engine designs gave them superior acceleration. The aliens tried to flee, but they could not escape. Commander Vrelt watched his fleet fall apart around him. In 20 minutes he had lost half his ships. The rest were damaged or fleeing. His flagship was taking fire from 3 directions. Shields were failing. Hull breaches on multiple decks. Where did these ships come from? He demanded. Where did the humans get this technology? No one had answers. The intelligence report said Earth was primitive. Chemical rockets, nuclear weapons. No faster than light travel. The humans were supposed to be easy prey. Commander, we need to retreat, his tactical officer said. If we stay, the fleet will be destroyed. Vrelt knew he was right, but the shame of it burned. The hegemony did not retreat. The hegemony conquered. But today, the hegemony was being defeated by a species they had dismissed as primitives. Signal all ships. Withdraw to the edge of the system. Emergency faster than light jump as soon as we're clear of the planet's gravity well. The alien fleet turned and ran. They left behind wreckage and escape pods. Ships that were too damaged to flee were abandoned. The crews that could escape did. The rest were captured or killed. The human fleet did not pursue beyond the outer solar system. Admiral Park gave the order to hold position. They had won the battle. There was no need to chase a beaten enemy across the galaxy. Not yet. Doyun stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and looked at the tactical display. The battlefield was covered with debris. Alien ships, broken and burning. Human ships, battered but functional. In 6 hours of fighting, Earth had defeated an invasion fleet 300 strong. Casualty report, he asked quietly. Jiwan checked her console. Eads Defiant was destroyed. All hands lost. 280 crew members. Eads Vigilant is heavily damaged but intact. 5 other ships report minor damage and casualties. Total human losses, 312 dead, 490 wounded. The bridge was silent. 300 lives, 300 people who would never go home. The cost of victory. Record their names, Doyen said. All of them. They saved Earth. They need to be remembered. Across the solar system, human ships began damage control. Crews worked to repair systems and help the wounded. On Earth, people watched the sky and saw the alien ships fleeing. They saw human vessels, massive and powerful, standing guard. The silence was finally broken. Earth had announced itself to the galaxy. Not with words, but with weapons. The message was clear. Humanity would not submit. 6 months after the battle, the Indomitable crossed into uncharted space. Doyen Kim sat in his command chair and watched the stars scroll past on the main screen. They were farther from Earth than any human had ever traveled. They were alone, and they were looking for friends. Sensors are picking up something, the tactical officer reported. Large structure, artificial, distance 2 million kilometers. Can you identify it? Negative. Nothing in our database. It's not hegemony design. Doyen leaned forward. This was what they had come for. First contact with a species that was not trying to conquer Earth. The question was whether this new species would be friendly. Slow to half speed. Jiwan, prepare a standard greeting message. All languages we know. Ji-Wan Lee had spent months preparing for this moment. Earth's first diplomatic contact. She had rehearsed the message 100 times. Her finger hovered over the transmit button. Message ready, Captain. Send it. The message went out into space. A simple greeting in multiple languages. An introduction. An offer of peaceful contact. Now they waited. Seconds turned into minutes. Do-Yoon felt the tension on the bridge. His crew was ready for anything. Weapons were powered but not locked. Shields were up but not at maximum. They wanted to appear peaceful but capable. Receiving a response, Ji-Wan said suddenly. They're transmitting in, I think it's a mathematical language. Universal constants. Give me a minute to decode. She worked quickly, her fingers flying over the console. The translation software that had decoded hegemony language now worked on this new message. Got it, Ji-Wan said. They're welcoming us. They call themselves the Confederation. They're asking who we are and where we come from. Tell them we're from Earth. Tell them we're new to the galaxy. Tell them we're looking for peaceful contact. More messages were exchanged. The alien station sent coordinates for a meeting location, a neutral space where ships could meet safely. Do-Yoon agreed. 3 hours later, the Indomitable approached a small alien vessel. It was elegant, all curves and smooth lines. Not a military ship, more like an ambassador's yacht. They're hailing us, Ji-Wan reported. Audio and visual. Put them on screen. The image that appeared was unlike anything humans had seen before. The alien was tall and thin, with forearms and skin that seemed to shift colors, but the eyes were intelligent and curious. Greetings, the alien said. The translation software worked perfectly. I am Ambassador Kelrus of the Confederation. You are the humans from Earth? I am Captain Do-Yoon Kim of Earth. We come in peace. Kelrus made a gesture that might have been a smile. Peace is welcome. We have monitored your conflict with the hegemony. The galaxy is talking about it. The species that defeated a hegemony fleet. Many do not believe it is real. It's real, Do-Yoon said. We defended our world, and did so brilliantly. The hegemony has been unchallenged for too long. Your victory has given hope to many species. The Confederation would like to learn more about humanity. Perhaps we can help each other. This was the moment Admiral Park had planned for. The Confederation was a loose alliance of species that maintained independence from the hegemony. They were not strong enough to fight directly, but they survived through cooperation and careful diplomacy. Earth needed allies. The Confederation needed a strong military partner. It was a natural fit. We would welcome discussions, Do-Yoon said carefully. But I should be honest. The hegemony will return. They will come with more ships. Anyone who allies with Earth will become their target. Kelrus's colors shifted to something that looked like determination. The hegemony is already our enemy. They simply have not conquered us yet. If Earth is willing to fight, the Confederation will stand with you. The diplomatic negotiations took weeks. Do-Yoon was not a diplomat, so Admiral Park sent specialists to help. But the basic agreement was simple. The Confederation would share technology and resources. Earth would provide military protection. Together they would resist the hegemony. While negotiations continued, Min Seo-choi was busy with her own project. The hybrid ship designs were taking shape. She combined human weapons with Confederation shields, human engines with alien sensors. The result was something new. Something better than either species could build alone. How long until the prototype is ready? Admiral Park asked during one of their regular briefings. 6 months for the first ship, Min Seo replied. But Captain, I need to show you something else. She pulled up another design. This one was different. Not a warship. It was a space station. Massive, heavily armed, capable of defending an entire solar system. This is what I'm calling the Bastion Project. We build these at key locations. Each one is a fortress. If the hegemony wants to attack our territory, they have to get through these first. It will cost them dearly. Park studied the design. It was ambitious, expensive, but brilliant. Start construction. Build the first one at Earth, then one at each Confederation core world. Create a network of defenses. Back on Earth, life was changing rapidly. The secret was out. Everyone knew about the Dreadnoughts now. The shipyards on the moon were no longer hidden. New facilities were being built openly. Earth was preparing for war. But there was also hope. News from the Confederation brought information about other species. Friendly species. The galaxy was not just the hegemony. There were other civilizations, other cultures, other ways of living. Young people on Earth looked up at the stars with wonder instead of fear. They wanted to join the fleet, explore the galaxy, meet aliens, build something new. Ji-won Lee received a promotion. She was now Chief Communications Officer of the First Fleet. It was a big responsibility. She coordinated between human ships and Confederation vessels. She helped translate diplomatic messages. She was building bridges between species. It's strange, she told Doyen one evening in the observation lounge. 6 months ago we were alone. Now we have allies, friends. The galaxy seems smaller. Or we seem bigger, Doyen replied. Earth was silent for so long. Now we're making noise. The galaxy has to pay attention. 3 months later, the hegemony made their move. Not with an invasion fleet, with words. They sent a message to the Confederation. Any species that aids the humans will be considered an enemy of the hegemony. Trade will be cut off. Military action will be taken. This is your only warning. The Confederation Council debated for days. Some members were scared. The hegemony was powerful. Maybe it was better to abandon Earth. Survival was more important than principles, but Ambassador Kelris spoke against this. The hegemony expects us to be afraid. They expect us to submit. They have ruled through fear for 3,000 years. But the humans showed us that fear can be overcome. They were silent. They waited. They prepared. And when the time came, they fought. If we abandon them now, we prove that the hegemony is right. That strength is all that matters. That fear is wisdom, the Council voted. By a narrow margin, they chose to stand with Earth. When the news reached Earth, Admiral Park allowed herself a rare smile. The alliance would hold. For now, Doyen received new orders. Take the Indomitable deeper into the galaxy. Establish Earth's presence. Show the flag. Make contacts. Let everyone know that humanity was here to stay. The ship departed with great ceremony. News feeds across Earth showed the massive Dreadnought leaving orbit. Thousands of people watched it go. Their protector. Their representative to the stars. Minseo worked in the engineering bay as the ship traveled. She was training Confederation engineers, sharing human technology, learning alien techniques. The exchange of knowledge was producing amazing results. Your species is remarkable, one of the alien engineers told her. You went from chemical rockets to faster-than-light travel in 50 years. Most species take centuries, Minseo shrugged. We were motivated. Fear is a good teacher. So is hope. You could have built weapons and nothing else. Instead, you built culture. Art, science, you stayed human even while preparing for war. That is rare, it was true. Earth had not just built weapons. While the Dreadnoughts were being constructed, humanity also created new art, new music, new literature. The shipyards employed millions, but billions more lived regular lives. Earth remained a living world, not just a fortress. That was the difference between Earth and the hegemony. The hegemony was built on conquest. Earth was built on survival, and survival meant keeping what made life worth living. A year after the first battle, the hegemony finally came again. Not with 300 ships, with 3,000, an armada that could conquer 100 worlds. They came to destroy Earth once and for all. But they did not find Earth alone. They found 50 human dreadnoughts. They found 200 Confederation warships. They found the first Bastion station, fully operational and heavily armed. They found a prepared defense. The battle lasted 3 days. It was brutal. Many ships were lost on both sides. But in the end, the hegemony retreated again. Earth and the Confederation held, and the galaxy saw it happen. The hegemony, invincible for 3,000 years, defeated twice by the same species. The Empire's reputation was shattered. Other species began to resist. The hegemony's control started to crack. Doyen stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and watched the enemy flee. His ship was damaged. His crew was exhausted. But they had won. Again. Captain, incoming message from Admiral Park, Ji-won reported. Park's face appeared on screen. She looked tired but satisfied.